John was always a fantastic crowd pleaser. He was great at directing people and liked nothing more than thinking that he was helping a large event run smoothly by helping out. So when it came to the 13th of October 2013, the day of my wedding, John was right there to lend a hand and booming voice. John was one of my two best men, along with my mate Stephen. Both had one ring each to look after and, I'm sad to say, respective speeches to deliver. Liz, my then fiancée, now wife, so you know it's a happy ending, was at the venue preparing. And although the venue was intimate and had a planner and a host who knew what they were doing, I was in bits. To be honest, I'm usually a good organiser of people and groups, but this day was not my strongest showing. Thankfully, Jonathan arrived and set to work becoming acquainted with the staff and layout, as well as asking for help around the plan. John was dressed in his new tailor-made suit, fitted for that day, and looked fantastic. Side note, scruffy was John's default setting, but he did enjoy getting dressed up. "Me smart, Al," he would say, before taking me through his ensemble. I was really surprised he'd taken to his new suit, as whenever you bought John something new to wear, it'd take him at least a month before he would give it so much as a second glance. Anyway, as I sat quietly in the corner, pale-faced, praying I wouldn't cock something up, John came over and found me. "All right, Al?" "Yes, mate. How are you?" "New suit. Wedding. Smart day for you." "Thanks, John. You look amazing." John then quietly smoothed the lapels of my jacket, dusted off my shoulders and took me by the hand, lifted me up and said, "Me help you, my son, for your wedding." "Thanks, John. Have you got my ring?" He tapped his top pocket and smiled. He then proceeded to take me around the entire staff team he was immediately on best mate terms with, got me a drink, which was somehow he didn't pay for, and found my mum, who was busy putting the finishing touches to our cake. John just knew when I needed him, and more often than not what I needed, and, apparently at this time, it was a drink. He then shuffled off to organise the guests arriving and show them the toilets and the bar and where the ceremony would be held. John did me really proud through the entire ceremony. After this, we went out into the only part of the day which didn't chuck it down for the photographs in the gorgeous gardens which were entirely wasted owing to the levels of precipitation. Following this, my former brass band, of which John was a member, played as part of the entertainment. John was timpanist, also known as kettle drums. However, this small venue had a neighbourhood agreement that no drums were allowed, so John sat beside me and helped keep time in the pieces that I dabbled at. At the wedding breakfast, John, aided and abetted by our dad, did his speech and raised about 43 toasts to Al and Liz. It was after that John began to let his hair down, proudly instructing everyone they should applaud myself and Liz every time we took a step anywhere, especially after the cake cutting and the first dance, which he joyously joined in with. Obviously, my memory of the rest of the evening isn't clouded by alcohol-based amnesia at all, but I do mentally cut to finding John asleep on a random sofa, shirt untucked, tie askew, with a bottle of J2O nearby. I think he'd realised he may have been having overstepped the mark by then. As I look back 8 years on from that day, the little things mean so much. And the fact that my big brother had an absolute blast at my wedding would be something many would take for granted. But for me, besides marrying the love of my life, it's the second best thing about my wedding day.